A Mississippi grand jury has declined to indict the white woman whose accusations led to the infamous 1955 lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till of Chicago. Within 7 hours of hearing testimony from investigators and witnesses, a Leflore County, Mississippi grand jury found there was insufficient evidence to indict Carolyn Bryant Donham on charges of kidnapping and manslaughter. In June, a group searching the basement of the Leflore County Courthouse discovered an unserved arrest warrant charging Donham, then husband Roy Bryant, and brother-in-law J.W. Milam in Till's 1955 abduction. The men were arrested and acquitted on murder charges, but Donham was never taken into custody. The men later confessed to the crime in a magazine interview, but weren't retried. Both have died. Joining me now is John C. Barnett, national civil rights activist. Glad to have you on the show. So the grand jury, we're looking at kidnapping and manslaughter. Why not perjury?
Unbelievable. I was thinking about what I was going to talk to you about in reference to them just even entertaining the actual warrant. So I thought about 4 different books real quick. Number one, they found the warrant. Any black man that has a warrant in this country, trust me, you're going to get locked up. Trust me. I have thousands of members that have gotten locked up. Number two, Roland, the question is if they entertained it by having a jury, grand jury come together and make this decision. After the attorney general wanted to say, we're not going to do anything. The blood has always been on the DA's hand. The DA has the power. So it's funny that they made a decision, or she made a comment that she don't want to do anything, attorney general, which that's like, actually, we're trying to get in touch with the vice president, not the president. So when the district attorney finally has all this pressure coming from 2 sides, and I feel so sorry for him, because he's got to deal with, the right wing, but he also has to deal with his own black community. So if they entertain the warrant, then that gives me hope, and that should allow everyone to see that they should be able to execute the warrant, simply because they executed it. Simply because they are entertaining it. So in saying that, I think it's very heartening. It's very sad. It's a sad day in America because we literally see an injustice being broken. This is justice being broken, and surely we're not going to stop. I mean, what is the timing of this case? Number one, the movie's coming out, and I'm not big on entertainment in Hollywood. I rarely get to see movies. I work too hard for that. Number two, the fact that we're having a rally in Raleigh. We found out where she was. She's in Kentucky, and yes, she may be a little out of it. She may be sick, but as I've told you before on this great show that I'm on, I'm so blessed to be on your show, is they locked up Bill Cosby and he was half blind. Surely they can lock her up as well. At least give the family some closure by locking her up. And then if they don't want to go forth with punishing her, so be it. But at least honor the warrant, because all they have to do is execute it and lock her up. So the whole world should be disappointed in the justice system. This is not working, especially with that grand jury that they put together in that august body that they have in Mississippi.
Again, I'm looking at, the charges, kidnapping, manslaughter. But we know for a fact she lied. She lied. In Mississippi, is there a statute of limitations on perjury?
I mean, no, it's not. And I think that's the sad thing about Mississippi. I mean, my memories of Mississippi is the gospel singer Marvin Wine and fly me down there to help out a pastor, and the second one is Mississippi burning. So those are my memories of Mississippi. I don't know much about Mississippi, but I do know they don't play fair. I do remember what Dr. King had to go through in Mississippi. So a lot of things have been changed. I tell people all the time, Mr. Martin, that Abraham Lincoln's friends was not jumping up and down when he freed the slave. Because of that, even Dr. King told Harry Belafonte, I believe I woke my people into a burning house. And so in saying that alone, you have to understand that it's just not a fair playing field that we're playing on. And so we have to be persistent. We have to continue to march upon Mississippi. This may be a march that may be I pray it's a million man march to Mississippi. We have to put pressure on Kentucky. We know where she's at now. At least we know where she's at. And thanks to your show and so many others, we now know where she's at. So in saying that, I think they're really feeling sorry for her. Mr. Martin, because they can't find out, because she's sick. She's in hospice, and I hate to say it, who gives a damn? They locked up all my cousins in South Carolina. They had warrants. So I think that this is our last chance, Mr. Martin, to give the family closure for her. This is our last chance, because after she dies, that's it. There's no more. I mean, the two guys that killed him, look, they killed the young man, threw him in a river, and then put a generator wheel around his neck and let him float to the bottom of the river. I don't know what else we need to see. That's enough. And then for the mother to keep the coffin open for the whole world to see. So it just shows how, we still in America. And there ain't much changed.
The thing on here is also, to your point, look, there were these other white racists who were old, who were convicted for crimes that took place during the Civil Rights Movement.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said there were other old white racists who were convicted of their crimes. Barnett Beckwith, he was old, that white racist. He went to prison for killing Medgar Evers.
That's correct. Medgar Evers in particular, right there in Mississippi. I remember flying into Mississippi on a plane, and I was like, wow, they named the airport after Medgar Evers. What more visual do you need to see? That at least there was a little small form of justice. And I tell everybody, my quote is, any small form of justice is good justice. And so in saying that, I think that is sad. But I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Martin, the blood cries out from the grave, what I was taught. And the blood is on the DA's hand because he has the power. You don't have to listen to anybody around him. All he got to say is execute. And to say that he didn't and he put that blood on the jury's hand is even more disheartening. So we're not going to stop. I'm going to be honest with you. When I fight expecting the worst. I always fight like that because it always makes me feel better inside. I expect things like this to happen. So I'm already planning plan B. We got a rally in Raleigh at Grace Amy Zion Church. There's a demonstration that's going to take place, unfortunately, outside of hospice. We're going to be going to Mississippi the 29th, I think the 30th, Dr. Shabazz. Shout out to Dr. Shabazz, Dr. Malik Shabazz, who told me about this case. I'll be in Raleigh this week. So we're not going to stop. You got to keep fighting. I remember this. I got to tell you this. I remember my uncle telling me that Muhammad Ali said he couldn't physically beat Joe Frazier. His jaw was broken in the 8th round, and he fought him up with to the 12th. He couldn't physically beat Joe Frazier, but he knew if he kept hitting Joe Frazier, he would eventually win. And so in saying that, we have to be persistent in our effort for civil rights. All they're doing is fine-tuning us as it relates to civil rights and the struggle. We're in the 5th step of civil rights, Mr. Martin. First one, Dr. King came up with this in 1957. Information gathering, right? Education, personal commitment. We were in negotiation stage. That's number 4. Number 5 is direct action. Direct action, America, if you're listening to Mr. Martin's show, direct action is 30,000 of us, including myself, going to June 6th, stopping 6 black boys from going to prison for a school fight. Listen to me, it's our school fight. And because of 31,000 people in the city of Jena that only hold 2,500, we changed the course of history, changed that court system because the judge said, we're going to give them probation. But if it had not been highlighted by Michael Basin and my mentor, Al Sharpton, guess what would have happened? Nothing. Them boys would have been in prison. And look at God. God made one of those 6 boys a lawyer. And he went to school in California. So we have to be persistent, even if we have to go to the direct action. Direct action got Rosa Parks justice. Because after she was refused her seat on the bus, a year later, Dr. King allowed everybody to sit on the bus, including your cousins and my cousin. So we have to be persistent. And we're in the 5th step of civil rights. And the 6th is reconciliation. Carolyn Donham, she know not what she do. Jesus said that up to the disciples. I mean, they said it when Jesus died. He said to them, they know not what they do. How powerful is that? So we still have to forgive these devils in some kind of strange, eerie way. But before that type of courtesy of forgiving them, we have to get justice first because they know not what they do. This is the seeds that America has planted, and now they have uprooted. And this generation, I don't know about you, the Black Lives Matter movement, the new Black Panther movement, my organization, Thug, True Healing on the God, I got 5,000 members in 17 states. We're not stopping. That's what they got to understand. This ain't somebody sitting behind closed doors, smoking cigars, making deals like a public defender and a DA. This is direct civil rights, and we're trying to stir up the whole country. The end of this month is going to be Emmett Till week. So if you know about him, you'll learn about him at the end of this month, and you'll be seeing activities across the country in various cities. And then the blessings, I heard that the movie is going to get an Oscar buzz. but the movie is irrelevant. The truth of the matter is Carolyn Donham needs to be locked up. And watch this. I got to tell you this. The grand jury said they're not going to do anything, right? I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jonathan Farrell was shot 10 times in his chest by a white cop, right? And the grand jury was like 16 people. They were supposed to have 18. Roy Cooper, the governor, said, well, they didn't have the right numbers, so let's do it again. When they did it again, had a second grand jury, I demonstrated outside of Charlotte, got 200 people out there, 9 pastors to pray. And that same day and that same hour, they indicted the officer, and the family won $2.2 million. And unfortunately, we lost the criminal case because the officer said he was scared that Jonathan Farrell was going to take his gun. But he shot him 10 times in the chest for knocking on a white woman's door after he wrecked his car in the ditch. So what I'm telling you is that the grand jury met twice. I don't know if that's going to be the case with this incident, but because of persistence, because of that Muhammad Ali effect, I'm hopeful that something's going to happen. If not, then I pray that it will not be it's not the reality of what Malcolm X said. Once you get a lot of sparks around a paddle keg, eventually it's going to blow. And America's growing, and we're not dealing with the elephant in the room, and that's racism. Kanye was right. I hate to say it. Kanye was right. Racism still exists, and it exists in Mississippi.
Well, sir, I certainly appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you so very much, and continue to apply the much-needed pressure in this case here. John Barrett, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?